Okay, an engineer see a problem, what do they say?
Fix
We
it.
can fix it. Oh yeah, hell yeah, we can fix it. Oh, nope. We just need some money and some time. And we will fix this bugger. So the city council and the citizens of Seattle, as upset as they were, they said, okay, we got to fix this. You know, so we'll give you some more money, another $300,000. You know, I mean, that's a lot of money back in 1915. And what they're going to do is they're going to puddle the reservoir. They're going to raise it up and lower. They're going to inject fine sediment into the water, let that settle into the pores, plug up the whole damn thing. Beautiful idea. 3 years later, 1918, in December, it's all done. The headlines read, "Leak fixed, city to fill dam." Sounds great. It's been a very wet winter. The moraine is already saturated with water. So the city says, good, we're filling this baby up. So we start to fill it up. December 23rd, 1918, down below this moraine, in that direction, not that direction, there's another little town. The North Bend Lumber Company has a mill on a little creek that feeds out of the moraine called Boxley Creek. And they built a mill pond on that creek, which is pretty typical. The night watchman is walking around on December 23rd, and he notices that in the last hour, that mill pond has come up about 6 feet. And he says to himself, this looks like something bad is about to happen. So he ties down the air horn, he goes knocking on doors, he wakes people up. They rouse the whole town, 50 people, out of bed. They go up on a hill. They build a big bonfire. This is the middle of the night, December 23rd. Sometime during the night, on the outside of this moraine, about 800,000 tons of rock debris. You can't quite see it from this distance, but there's a collapse, a massive collapse of the land. Collapsed down off of the face of the moraine, rushed down Boxley Creek, and buried the town, destroying the lumber mill, destroying the houses, destroying everything. But the good news is, nobody died. Yes, that night watchman is a hero. Yay! And he's celebrated in North Bend, even today. So, now, of course, the city had another problem. Apparently, there's still water moving through the moraine. And it may be dangerously causing a dangerous instability in the moraine, which could cause the whole damn thing to go. So, the city, you know, first of all, the North Bend Lumber Company, about 2 weeks afterwards, came to the city and said, you know, we think you did this. And the city said, well, you know, let us take a look at it, and we'll see. So we sent our engineers back up, and they're looking around. They're saying, you know, I mean, this could have happened anyway. I mean, the moraine was wet. I mean, who knows whether these were causative factors? So the North Bend Lumber Company actually found a couple of lawyers who were interested in pursuing this case. And they pursued their case, and they came to the city, and the city said, well, you know, I don't know, and they talked about it, and they were negotiating. And finally, about a year and a half after this event, the city said, okay, let's settle. The claim was for about $400,000. The city negotiated a settlement of $130,000. Sounded pretty good. So the city council signed off on it, the mayor signed off on it, and then the people got involved. And you guys know how much trouble that causes, right? When people start having opinions about stuff that government does. So anyway, the people of Seattle are notorious for wanting to vote on everything. So they actually circulated a petition to put this decision to a vote of the people. And the way that it was characterized was, A, was this Seattle's fault? Or B, was this God's fault? Yes, was this an act of God? Right? So no control. The citizens of Seattle sort of looked at their pocketbooks and said, well, if it's our fault, it's coming out of my pocket. You know, well, he's got lots of money. So they actually voted down the settlement. And at that point, the city, you know, pursued their defense of the claim. And in 1922, the state Supreme Court ruled against the city of Seattle and awarded a judgment of $424,000 to the North Bend Lumber Company for this. The other consequence of this, the really big consequence of this, is that this reservoir cannot store the amount of water that was envisioned for it, and so we are unable to both hold back floodwaters, as Tom spoke about. You sort of saw that picture from 2009. We're unable to impound, a reasonable amount of floodwater, and then also we're only able to store, enough to kind of get us through the summer and maybe into the fall if we're lucky, because we have other obligations. We withdraw about 18% of the annual flow of the Cedar for drinking. The rest of it is committed, not necessarily directly committed, but committed to Lake Washington, to the salmon, to the locks, and to other uses. So when it gets to be dry, hot and dry, and even though we have a full reservoir right now, you could come back here late September, early October, mid-October, and the view from here would be approximately like this. So, oddly enough, as many people who come from other parts of the world cannot possibly imagine, because all they hear about Seattle is rain, we have a water supply problem in the city of Seattle and a water management problem. So that is why this is a good dam in a bad place.